I have listened to all your comments, your questions, your contributions, and your suggestions throughout last year, the year 2023. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to be implementing them. Also, I'm going to focus particularly on the questions around Esan names. So I'm going to be telling you about the history behind Esan names and Esan naming ceremony. Then towards the end of this video, I'm also going to tell you how you can get additional support if you really want to make your own personal progress in learning Esan language. Sit tight and enjoy. Hi, my name is Mabel, and I'm popularly known on this channel as Auntie Mabel. Before I go into this video, first of all, I will say Babulu for all your contributions this year. And I will also say Owesena to you, Oseno Wele. That's your response to me. So if you don't know what Owesena means, Owesena is how we say Happy New Year in Esa, the original Esa language. So if you don't know why that had the history behind that Owesena or Oseno Wele, I will pin the video in the comment section and probably in the description of where I have given a full history or a full story around that already. I made a video around that basically. So in the comment section, I want you to answer me. If you have watched this video up to this point, I want you to answer me or send Owele when I now say Owesena to you. So respond there or send Owele. It will actually make me know that you now know how to say Happy New Year in Esan language or in Esa. Right, let's go straight into today's video. So first of all, the comments are generally, I'll group them in two areas. Your comment and contributions. Some people say I should speak more in Esan and then do the interpretation in English. While majority of the people are happy with the current process of giving them the Esan language in bite size. So, but what I'm going to do, obviously, I have to meet the needs of all my subscribers. I'm going to be doing both. I'm going to be doing some videos where I will talk more in Esan, then interpret them in English, and I'll be saying more sentences and stories and stuff like that in Esan, and say it in English. You can see one of the videos I did where the one on the African keyboard. So the pattern of that is what I'm going to be using in some of the videos. So those who are more advanced can be served, while I will still continue to do this by size of doing pronunciation, prepositions, verbs, and single words and names and stuff like that. So I hope that solves everybody's. I hope that's satisfactory. But leave it in the comment section. Leave your views in the comment section if you think this is a good way forward for this year. Obviously, we have to make progress, don't we? Then, let me go to the core of the thing. Before I go to the Esan, talk about the Esan history around Esan name. It's very interesting, the history around Esan names, which many people, before I actually did that and I spoke to some of my siblings and some of my friends, I realized some people don't even, because were not really practicing it when they were growing up. So that's very interesting for you to know. But before that, I really want you to know that if you really want to learn Esan on one-to-one or as a group, it's something I'm going to be implementing this year. Some people are already having one-to-one sessions with me. So I'm going to progress that into some group sessions. So you're going to, if you want that, leave me a comment in the comment section to say you want that, or press the join button to join the community where we're already having a group session. The Esan naming ceremony. When I was growing up, I grew up in Ekboma. Those of you who still know, who grew up back home or who know the history of Esan a little bit. When I was growing up, when our mothers have babies, there is what they call, there are two ceremonies in Esan. There's one what they call Ihoetoa, that is washing of the hair. That is when the woman has done all her baby, what they now call a mugwa, when you have done all your baby recovery process. That's the hoitua. That's usually around 2 to 3 months. They will do that. I'll tell you more about that, how that is being done. Then there is one where after they call it Usumu, because traditionally Esan work with 4 days market day week. So the Usumu is 2 market days week. So it's almost like 9 days, kind of. So that's when they give the name officially to the baby. So it's either the grandfather or the eldest man in the family who will give that Esan name to the child. So like when I was growing up, I didn't grow up to meet my paternal grandfather. It's only my maternal grandfather that was alive when I was growing up. So it was my uncle. My dad had 2 elder brothers, so it was the eldest of the uncle who usually would give us the Esan names. So when we were born in the hospital, obviously, after the colonial master, those of us born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and I think that carried on even to the present day. So usually they would give us, like me, this Mabel, which English people here call me Mabel, so I've learned to just say it that way. So that would be given officially in the maternity when we were born. Those of us, I was born in the maternity. I know those before me, some people were not even born in maternity. But obviously, when you're born, your father will just give you that English name. Sometimes maybe it's even your siblings or any other person in the family who will just suggest that English name. In my time, Mabel was very common. Almost, okay, it was a common name, basically. So they will give you that Esan name. Your dad or whoever will suggest your English name. But the 9th day, that's when they will just, it's a small ceremony. I know the Yorubas are still very good at doing the 8-day naming ceremony now. So they will just cook a small meal, not big people, not a lot of people. They just cook a small meal. Your mom, like my mom, let me use an example. My dad had 2 senior brothers, so the eldest brother was the head of the family at the time. They would just cook a small, like, pounded yam and small portion of soup and just soup for like just them, the family people. So they will just take it to that senior brother's home. Then he will now give the Esan name. So in most cases, let me tell you the history behind most Esan name. Why some of you, when you're asking for the meaning of your names, it can be difficult for someone to tell you what they are. Because the person who is actually giving the name usually give the name around the circumstances happening around them at the time. For example, if that my uncle felt that my brother, my dad, and other brothers or siblings or something, there was a disagreement in the family at the time, or there was some big celebration or something big, something important, something to rejoice about what's happening in the family, that will usually inform the name he gives. So it depends on how that person giving the name is feeling. So that's why sometimes some names are in parables. And also, it depends on how people spell the names, but not everybody were very good at writing Esan names. So some people will spell the name incorrectly. So when you now is trying to find the meaning of that name, even your dad might not even remember the circumstances behind why they gave that name. Or maybe your dad is already late, or sometimes some people were even in the city. For example, my maternal uncles were living in Lagos. When they have a child, there was no this phone call to the village or to the granddad or to their dad. They will write a letter to the dad. The dad will now send somebody write a letter to give the name they want to give. So the granddad that is giving the name in Irua is giving the name according to what is happening to him, or probably what was happening to the son around the time or whatever was happening. So for example, if they say, oh, Ahulime, it means probably there was a disagreement between him and his community, wherever the disagreement or was now in his favor. He will not say Ahulime, that means it's in my favor. Ahulime is in my favor. You understand? So you that have that name will be wondering, where did this name come from? So I'm just trying to put it in context because I get a lot of questions around names. So one of the reasons why sometimes I can't just respond to your name in the comment section, the question in the comment section. Even if I do it there, the pronunciation might be wrong, the spelling you might not get the pronunciation right. So I have to find time to do some homework and ask questions to see why that name was that. Sometimes because of the regional dialect in Esan, the way names have been spelled or pronounced in Ekpoma might be different the way it's done in Ewohimi and some other as part of Esan, which is not simply, that is not common to Esan language. All language have dialects, even English language have dialect, regional variations. Okay, so I just want to clarify that. Then let's go to the naming ceremony. So after that naming ceremony, it's only very, very indoor, very small ceremony. Then the Ihoetoa, that's another ceremony around childbirth. This usually those days, even majority of the men do have, polygamy was common because of the farming or it was just a tradition. So most of them will have more than one wife. So when a woman have a baby, while they are doing what the generally Igbo name can call omugwo, that woman does not do much for the first 3 months. She's been taken care of. They will bathe the baby for the child, for the woman. They will also massage your body with warm water, cook for you. All you do is just to breastfeed the baby. And you don't also cook for the husband at that time because you are recovering from your childbirth. So the other wife will be cooking. So for example, if your husband had only one wife, the brother's wife, the other wives in the compound, which everybody will live in the communal, will be doing the cooking. So it's at the end of that Ihoetoa, which is the 3 months. They will say Ukiea. So but they feel at that time, probably the afterbirth, in the olden days, a period and blood discharge from the woman was seen as being unclean. Kind of, they didn't really say it that way, but that's why it was seen. So it's around that time they feel that you have recovered from the childbirth, probably the afterbirth blood flow and all of that has gone. So that's when they will do that ceremony again and cook some food again and go back to this senior brother's house or the man or the head man of the family. Then they will now do that ceremony again and kind of pray, and it's all ceremony. Then that woman will also dress up, and those days you dress very fine and all of that. So culturally, although many people now see only the negative side of how women are being oppressed, there were a lot of taking care of. There was just a lot of enjoyment as well as a woman around childbirth and stuff like that. So it wasn't all bad. And the polygamy as well, I'm not condoning polygamy, get me right, but it wasn't all that bad. I know there was always this rivalry, but there was some peaceful coexistence as well, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So so that's also after that ceremony, after that Ihoetoa, that's when the woman officially starts going back to have a relationship with the husband again, because they feel you have now recovered from the childbirth and stuff like that. But then the women just didn't really use family planning, but because they were mostly fully breastfeeding, there was hardly any woman who had a child maybe every year. It was mostly at most 2 years, 3 years, because they were full breastfeeding for the child baby. They carry baby everywhere they go market. On the way, so they'll bring the boob from the corner when the baby's on the back. If they're on the street, they bring it from the boob from the corner there and give the child. So it was everything the child was eating until they feeding the child until the child was weaned. So there were some very cultural practices that were really good for the coexistence of the family and for the well-being of the child, for the well-being of the wife or the woman, and the well-being of the husband and the well-being of everybody else, but in between all the rivalry and stuff, which is still going on today. Even when you live apart, even when you are one man, one wife, there's still the rivalry between siblings or friendship. Even if you are at work, there's also the rivalry between colleagues. So that rivalry is always there, but it wasn't all bad. They did have a good way of coexisting. I hope that makes sense. So Esan culture is really beautiful. There's more beautiful side of Esan culture than the not so good part of the culture. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed my storytelling today. It's a good day of welcoming you back in this new year. And sorry if I'm posting this video late, but as you know, some people will say, that means the chukuchuku on the hand doesn't allow you to remove the chukuchuku on the leg. You have to remove the chukuchuku on the hand first before you remove the one on the leg. So obviously a lot of priority things have dragged my attention. I recorded this video So but I'm going to try and make sure I post it by the middle of the month, or at least before the end of January. So yeah, whenever you get this video, I hope you appreciate it. And please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, subscribe. And if you know any Esan person, Esan wife, Esan friend, Esan who want to learn Esan language, share this video and know much about our beautiful Esan cultural heritage, identity, and history and language. So leave your comment section to see, do you agree with this story I have told? My version that I experienced. That's my experience of the Esan naming ceremony and the Esan style of Omugwo. So please let me know if, as an Esan person born, especially 60s, 50s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or before, those of you who are not the Indomie generation. So tell me what you understand, what you remember about this history, this detailed history I've given around Esan naming ceremony and Esan names. So on that note, I will say Babulu for supporting me on this channel, and Bakin Boy. See you all in my next video.